Let's go right into the music. And
Mm-hmm.
we're going to start with a little bit of a curveball. Idols is something that I haven't been able to do in music recommendations yet, but they're a cool band. They're like a kind of a post-punk or like new
Yep.
punk English group. Pretty rad stuff. My friend Anderson told me about that group, and they released a new project called Ultra Mono. Just came out this week. Had no time to review it, but there are a lot of funny things. I think even the needle drop, Anthony Fantano got like in a Twitter like beef or like just pointed out and got like mad, not mad, whatever, about this one guy who was upset that Idols was making music that was political and like didn't understand it. It was like one of those Rage Against the Machine things. Like since when
Uh,
did Rage Against the Machine get so political? It's such one of those so
no, yeah.
dumb. Um, Model Village is another one of those really fun examples. It's like very light on the punk and rock stuff, but it's just sort of like painting this picture of a town that is all nice, that's like a utopia, but
Mm-hmm.
it's really not. It's like tried and true stuff that's gone on in music. That's pretty good, I think.
I like it. It's fun.
Yes. Um, Next is Silver Lining from the Neighborhoods, Chip Chrome and Monotones. The album, The Drop, it's like sub 30 minutes long,
Yeah.
and it's divided into two parts, nicely called Chrome and the Monotones. And Chip Chrome is kind of a lot more electronic sounding.
Yes.
Very interesting. The single Pretty Boy came out from that, and it's a really nice song. It's a really nice second song to get into that. It'll be really nice to maybe in a court packing kind
I
of
would
sense at
definitely
this
put it in
point.
court packing.
Go into this album and go into it because really interesting, especially as a drop. It's 31 minutes long. But the song I picked out from it is Silver Lining because it's from that second part of the
It's very
drop.
good.
That's very good. I don't think that it was, yeah, it wasn't released beforehand, so it's very interesting. It shows a different side of it. It's a lot less electronic. It's very more
But
gypsy like.
what they've done before in their sound, but a little bit more updated and stuff, um, which is good. I've really liked and enjoyed the Neighborhoods work. They released an album about 2 years ago, so it's nice to hear this drop that has a lot of mixed stuff in the bag. It's different. There's a lot of different sounds that they've experimented with within the drop, and it was very good. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Um, Next is ASAP Ferg. He released Floor Seats 2. Floor Seats 1 was the song that Plain Jane came off of, I'm pretty sure, and that's probably like ASAP Ferg's favorite song. To see ASAP Ferg's best song. And so to get a second version or like a second outing of Floor Seats would be really cool. This one was, it took more of like a not quite Lil Uzi Vert, but very like techno electronic trap focus in this drop, which is kind of like an ASAP Ferg style. It's very like hard style electronic and trap thing. I like the second part more than the first, better than the first part. Like the original Floor Seats, it's kind of feature heavy. You get an opening roaring one with Marilyn Manson, which is kind of wild.
Which is wild, yeah.
Yeah, Tyga, which is a song called Dennis Rodman, also very wild. ASAP Ferg knows how to do it. But then you get some other weird things. There's like movie hits with noted interesting style, Nicki Minaj, and then Aussie Freaks was a really interesting one. But Hectic near the end is really cool. It almost sounds like a Run the Jewels song because it does like
it
a
is.
flip half of the way in the middle.
Yeah, and it's very political song, gets in your face. It does feel like Run Jewels in that way.
Yeah,
It's good.
I
enjoyed it. I enjoyed some of that album as well. I think there's some interesting sounds that I'm seeing that trap is going more into. A lot of trap artists are now including more electronica and stuff in it, depending on the artist, and it's a good. It's
Yeah.
decent.
I think music more broadly is spinning off into like electronic. You're using electronic as the base core
Yeah.
of your sound, or using
Latin.
traditional instruments
Or-
as a very
right.
base core of your sound. I think Latin music and a lot of European, Western music and Eastern music falls under both of those categories,
Yeah.
where sometimes they use more traditional sounds, sometimes they use more electronic things. Of course, everything gets touched by a computer at some point. There's a limits to how analog you can get it, but I do like that more embrace of, what are we talking about? Embrace of electronic and newer things that's going on. Which is interesting because our last new single is Be a Rebel by New Order.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they released their last album was Music Complete a couple of years ago. I remember they did Complete Music and Music Complete, which there was some really good songs on it, and there's some Uncle Rocky songs in there too. So it's kind of like a mixed bag. And this is like a blend between the two, between of like pushing kind of like their older sound forward a bit, but then still being held back a little bit by being Uncle Rocky in that regard. But it's actually a good single. I like the edit version a lot more than the full version, which is rare.
That's unusual for you.
That's usually very unusual for me, but I like it more because it cuts down some of the floof that's in there, and it's a decent song, and it's interesting to see if they're gonna have a release a full project and what that's gonna sound like. But I mean, it sounds like basically futuristic '80s song, more or less.
Yeah, it sounds very much almost like
Be a rebel.
a
A rebel,
futuristic
not a devil.
a devil. Be a rebel, not a devil. Yeah, it sounds has almost that very much like two-step beat, like
Yeah.
"What Is
Oh.
Love"
Mhm.
by Hadaway.
And they've done a lot of songs like that back in the past too.
Yeah, of course. Wasn't this supposed to be, or Music Complete supposed to be New Order's last album?
Don't know if that was supposed to be their last or not. I don't remember.
I thought like there was a long time between that one and the other ones. They're just kind of like that's it. But I don't know. We will find out. I would not be mad with doing another New Order album.
Mm-hmm.
They're a really good band.